Carly Fiorina, she wants to be the next president of the United States. We've been talking all morning about the Iowa State Fair. She's going to be there on Monday, but she joins us today from Mason City, Iowa. Good morning to you, Carly.
Good morning. How are you all?
We're doing okay. We are talking about the race. And as you depicted at the end of the debate a week ago yesterday, you're talking about how we should be looking at Hillary Clinton. As we look at the news this week out of Hillary Clinton's campaign, that they have turned over to the FBI her email server when she was Secretary of State, and it turns out there were top secrets for the federal government on there. Well, now the news is that it was turned over on Wednesday to the FBI. It is blank and wiped clean. What does that tell you?
Well, you know, the old adage comes to mind, the cover-up is always worse than the crime. So exactly right. We now know that her server went to an IT company somewhere in New Jersey, and they spent a lot of time from 2013 on making sure the server was clean. It is, as I said last week, she has lied about her emails. She has lied about her server. She also lied about Benghazi. But the more we hear, the worse this gets.
Is it criminal?
Well, it certainly broke every rule in the book at the State Department. It may well turn out to be criminal. But there is no question that she lied about this, and there is also no question that she was breaking the rules of her own State Department, rules which she reinforced with her employees while she was there.
How does she view the nation's secrets? Is this what she does with the nation's secrets, whether as a private server, whether she stripped out the classification or had some lackey do it? It doesn't matter. That she is not holding our nation's secrets to a higher standard.
It's a judgment issue.
Well, exactly. Recall as well that we now know and have known for about 12 years, I know this having served as the chairman of the advisory board at the CIA, we've known for about 12 years that the Chinese are trying to hack into our most sensitive databases and federal government systems. We now know the Chinese have done so. The Russians have as well. So on top of everything else, she was putting every bit of communication on that server at huge risk of being hacked by our enemies. Never mind protecting the information itself.
Sure.
That server was highly vulnerable, and I'm pretty sure it got hacked.
Could be right.
Carly, let me ask you this. First of all, you had a powerful op-ed. Your latest one says the status quo just is not working for women or any Americans, by that matter. Is this why, in your opinion, why Donald Trump, Ben Carson, and you are doing so well in the polls?
Well, you know what? People are tired of professional politicians. People are tired of politics as usual. Whatever your issue, whatever your cause, whatever festering problem you hoped would be resolved, the political class has failed you. That's true. And so now what people are saying is we need a different kind of leadership, leadership that can actually translate a fancy speech into real results for the American people. I agree with that. It's why I'm running for president. And I think we need a leader in the White House who understands how the economy works and how the world works, what technology is capable of, as well as how to cut a bureaucracy, which is what our federal government has become, a bloated, inept, corrupt bureaucracy, how to cut it down to size and hold it accountable.
Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, Carly, was on with Sean Hannity last night, and they were talking about why Donald Trump is resonating with voters, and a lot of this applies to you as well. Listen.
I think what's happened is people have also been through several cycles where politicians campaigned and said they would change things, but they didn't change things. And if you look at the governorships, for example, you see a lot of places where people have made real changes and where the governors are actually pretty popular as a result. And by the way, a lot of those governors are businessmen. This is one of the things to notice about both Carly Fiorina and Donald Trump, and for that matter, in terms of being a professional outside politics, Dr. Carson. People around the country have elected governors with no political experience who were very successful in business.
And that's the frustration. I can't tell you how many election cycles I've heard from people the day after, and then 6 months later, it's like we elected somebody we thought was going to get something done in Washington. They went to Washington, and nothing changed.
That's exactly right. And how long have we been talking about an insecure border? 30 years. We talk about it every election cycle. It's still not secure. How long has the Veterans Administration been a stain on our honor? At least 20 years. So how long have we been talking about tax reform forever and ever, and now we're still talking about defunding Planned Parenthood?
What do you do about it? What is your plan to fix that, change the status quo, and implement some policy? Where do you stand?
Well, Let me say that I will use the power of citizenship to put pressure on the political system. It's very important. Remember that when citizens put pressure on the political system will move. So, for example, we need to know where our money is being spent. We need to go to some version of zero-based budgeting, which many states have done. So I will go into the Oval Office on a regular basis, once a week, ask citizens to take out their smartphones, and I'll ask them a question. Do you think it's important that we know how your money is being spent? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. That technology exists. And the impact of that technology is to harness the power of the citizenry to be engaged in the process of their government and push on politicians. We know that politicians respond to pressure. When everybody was so upset about the VA, the politicians got it together and passed a bill in 3 short weeks saying we could fire federal government employees. So we need to harness that power. And it's why I say to every group of voters I talk to, this will require leadership, but it will also require citizenship. Every problem we have can be solved, but we need a different kind of leader in the White House, and we need to engage citizenry once again in the process of their government.
Well, most people look for you to be on the main stage in September at the next debate, and it's done purely on your performance. Carly Fiorina, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Right.